Hello?
Good morning.
I'm a hedgehog and no one cares about me.
That was Larry King on Sonic.
That was Larry King on Sonic the Hedgehog. Rest in power, Larry Archibald Kingdom. I'm wearing suspenders today because Larry King just died.
And he was a Nazi collaborator.
Anyway, welcome welcome back to Alcohol Beyond This Point, the podcast where we debate business topics sober and then revisit our thoughts when we are drunk. Tyler, it's your name. And my name is Willows.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, your name is Willows. Yeah, good job. Yeah, you fucking nailed it.
Nailed it. I was gonna say, Tyler, it's been a while since we've been here.
It's been a hot minute. We've seen each other once, like 2 days ago since we last recorded
3 months.
3 months ago.
Yeah, do you wanna tell them why?
Because
there's this.
We are surrounded by buffoons, and it inevitably led to us getting locked down.
Yeah, we went into our province. Finally, went into a household only rule for COVID restrictions, so you could only see the members of your household.
For
3 months.
Well,
it was like right after we had saw each other last time.
Yeah, but then it went into like two different stages of lockdown. Like one was bad and then it got worse.
Yeah, but now it's kind of loosened up. Like it worked. It did work. We cut our fucking cases by half.
Yeah.
Or 1/3, and hospitalizations I think are still high. But
nobody got to see family over Christmas and.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people did, but.
Well, I mean, they had like a grace period over Christmas, which I thought was interesting.
No, they did not in this city. Maybe back home.
Anyways, it was people didn't really see any family. No, they discussed the grace period and then they got rid of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't see any of my family didn't have any gatherings, any get-togethers.
Yeah, it was the first time in 24 years I didn't see my family for Christmas. We did like a Skype or like a Zoom.
Yeah.
Zoom thing.
I like how you say that when you're like 24 years old. Yeah, Zoom Christmas is fucking crazy, man. I just got a haircut for the first time since October last night, and I had like straight up mullet, like what my hair is like a shaved to a zero right now all the way around, like Peaky Blinders style.
I was gonna say you look exactly like Tommy Shelby, except for the sexy accent and the that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah. My hair was like 3 inches long in the back. Like I had a goddamn mullet already. It was disgusting.
Love it.
Yeah,
but we're back.
We're back,
and we're gonna try and be on a regular schedule until they shut us down again.
Yeah, because I mean we have a lot to talk about. There's been an election. There's been an inauguration. There's been an insurrection. There's been
attempted insurrection, alleged insurrection,
alleged really poorly attempted insurrection.
Yeah, that's
no one's going to be held accountable for except for the police that basically just are like, yo, come on in.
And more relevant, because now I think that the United States election is done and the Canadian one's still not for a couple of years. I think we'll probably chill out on the politics talk for a while.
Yeah, because it's I hope this is what happens, because I didn't give a fuck about politics until last year.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you the difference between the Democrat and Republican parties.
What is the difference? Am I right?
True. Fair enough. I think politics is about to get boring, and I think that would be cool.
Yeah. I think the fact that everyone, like both sides, like the fact it's sus AF that people like treat politicians like they're celebrities. You know what I mean? Like it's sketchy. Like we shouldn't care that much, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So I'm sure he'll bring up politics again, because like I have so many thoughts about it, because I've been looking more into. I've been listening to the Behind the Bastards podcast and other podcasts by that host, and learning about like the history of far right movements and fascism, and how that like clashes against far left movements and just conservatism and progressives, and just through history, like the very first fascist putsch back in fucking Spain, their civil war.
Yeah.
And how that all transpired. It's like, it's fucking scary because when you look at what happened then, it's like, oh my God, that's literally happening right now.
And I definitely want to keep this podcast this year more business focused, because that's what we are good at. I think we just get mundane about, like, it becomes mundane in our minds because we do it every day.
2020 was a bit of a mundane year for business.
Exactly. But but I also think that politics has a lot to do with business. Like, it affects businesses a lot, right?
100%.
Like, even in my industry, we looked at all the tariffs that Trump was putting on glass really affected, like, beer bottle purchases and wine bottle purchases. Like, it fucked a couple of my friends that own breweries because they're like, oh, the price of aluminum. Sorry, it was like the price of aluminum cans are now just 50% more than they were.
Yeah,
and it's like the margins on some products don't make sense anymore. So people in my industry had to, like, really hustle and change stuff around because of this fucking bullshit, right?
Well, yeah, I think this last year, I'll just let this part of what I was thinking about today out, because otherwise I'm going to fucking forget it as soon as I get finished a drink or two. But the ebb and flow is basically what we're going to see from here on out. Here's my call for the next 5 to 10 years.
I will clip this.
Yeah, please do. So because we just had a very overt public event happen with, like, the march on the Capitol, right?
Yep.
And Trump, and just, like, Trumpism and all that, it's just been, like, on the forefront. It's all everyone's talking about, and it's polarized a lot of people. But now there's going to be a crackdown on a lot of that, and that's just how things go. Like, now it's happening on Twitter, it's happening through private companies, through defunding political campaigns, it's happening through obviously deplatforming, and then banks delisting Trump, him getting sued into oblivion, his lawyers getting sued into oblivion. Like, there's always going to be a backlash, so the pendulum's going to swing the other way, and people are going to be like, oh, thank God there's, like, a president in the White House that's going to just, quote, govern and do, like, the bare minimum. But that's going to wear thin within, let's say, the next, I'm going to say, like, 4 to 8 years. That's going to wear thin, I guess 2 terms. And it's going to get to the point where people are, again, bored with and fed up with political bullshit, because their lives are still going to suck. They're still going to be unemployed. Their roads are still shitty. Like, life still sucks.
Actually, no, American roads are good.
Okay, maybe the roads are good, but that's it, because the military built them.
Fair.
But everything else is gonna suck, and you're gonna go from, like, right now everyone's pretty, like, pro-government, government positive, thinking about, like, oh, Trump's gonna save us, or oh, Biden's gonna save us, versus, like, the government can't do shit to save you.
But that's how it's been for fucking 200 years, right?
Well, it ebbs and flows where people care about government,
agreed,
right?
Agreed.
Or care it to be there. When you're in crisis times or war times or, like, a pandemic, people rely on the government for vaccines and organizing and all these things. So right now we're kind of in that upswing of, like, positivity toward institutions, and then that's going to wane and turn back into Trumpism, drain the swamp. This system isn't working. It's corrupted. They promised us to fix it. They didn't fix it. Like, it'll be that general and lame of a statement of, like, they said they would fix it. They didn't fix it. My life still sucks, which is inevitably true. Nothing's going to fucking change. And then there's going to be a resurgence, and there's going to be a second generation Trump who's going to take everything that he did and basically his fan base and the people that really rallied behind him, which is a very, like, proto-fascism, right? Like, it's a modern fascism. He's a very new type of guy where it's like, this strong man can save us. This guy embodies America. He can drain the swamp. He can fix this. He'll cut our enemies' throats, quote unquote. And there will be a guy that'll come along and he'll actually be good at it, and he'll fucking succeed. And then that's when something bad might happen.
So the first business thing I want to talk about today is the most I've laughed in a very long time. You following this GameStop Reddit thing?
Yeah.
So this just happened today.
The fucking short seller's like, this isn't natural. This is unfair.
They're calling to fucking regulate it. So, okay, I'll just tell the whole story. So if you're not familiar with this is what date is it? January 26th of
7th.
The year of our Lord 2021. And GameStop, the video game retailer that's had a very poor last 5 years because fucking everyone just plays online now.
Yeah.
Their stock is up, I think, 3,000% on the week, like 1,000% on the day.
Oh my god.
Because there were these two big hedge funds, and probably other people, but specifically these two big hedge funds that short sold GameStop. Which just Google short selling for dummies. It's basically you're betting on the stock to go down. Like you're purchasing it. You're agreeing to.
It's a very risky investing tactic
that can have a lot of upside.
It has a lot of upside, but it's also very risky.
And people think it's kind of scummy because because then it's in your interest if this company goes bankrupt and their stock goes down, right?
Yeah.
So there's been situations historically when it's like, okay, someone shorts a company and then their head office burns down. It's like, oh, that's coincidental, right?
And there was billions made on short, like billions and billions and billions of dollars made short selling during the pandemic.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and people short sell all the time. It's very, very common. Giant corporations don't have to do it,
and most hedge funds don't even jump into that a lot.
It's quite risky, yeah. So, but anyway, there was these two large hedge funds short-stopping GameStop, and I don't know exactly why. The subreddit that caused all this has now been locked and is privatized because as soon as it started getting news story, I think a bunch of idiots came in there and they right. Yeah. But it's basically this stock trading subreddit on the internet where people like amateur stock traders get together, trade tips and whatever.
And there's actually a shitload of really good training that'll happen.
Yeah, oh yeah. And so what they did, I don't know why it started exactly, but they got wind that these two hedge funds were short selling GameStop. So they all collaborated, all these amateur people from all over fucking, I guess the world, but mostly the US, and all bought a bunch of GameStop stock.
And ran the price up.
But in coordinated like waves to run the price up. And these hedge funds, like one of them filed for bankruptcy. They've lost billions of dollars.
Because they can basically, if they push the price high enough,
they're forced to sell or whatever.
It forces out their sell order.
Yeah. So literally these amateur traders on Reddit are like bringing a $1 trillion hedge fund to its fucking knees, and I haven't stopped laughing.
And they're so fucking mad. They're so butthurt.
Oh, and then they were calling on Biden's administration for like regulation for this.
It's too late. You lost.
Like yesterday. I saw a meme, with the Cheems, like the dog, like the strong dog and then the crying dog. Mm-hmm. It's like the strong dog. It's like, we don't need regulation. The free market provides. We can do anything we want. And then it's the crying dog. And it's like, oh, Reddit people stole my money. Can you please regulate them?
Oh my god!
But this is just
what would you regulate? Like it's the epitome of free market.
Yeah, I saw a meme that's
it's an anonymous public forum.
I saw a meme that it's not anonymous, but yeah, well, yeah, I guess you have accounts, but
you have screen names, or whatever.
But yeah, I saw a meme that was like, they want to ban outside trading or something. Like, it's like, this is literally what the stock market is. Fuck off. Yeah. Like, you lost. Suck a dick. Like,
yeah, don't short sell.
As somebody,
something people love.
As somebody who's very, very, very pro market, pro free market, and very pro billionaire and pro money and pro making money, take your fucking L. You fucking lost.
So funny.
You fucking lost to a bunch of coordinated internet geeks. Like, fuck you.
You just got. This is the best troll.
Yeah,
like, this
fuck
is.
Off.
I would. Okay. I was gonna say it's a new year. I was gonna say is this better than the TikTok troll on Trump's rally? I would say this is better.
This is hilarious. Like, this is, and then even yesterday, like fairly early on before all the news caught wind of it, Elon Musk retweeted the subreddit and said "Game stonks," which I was just talking with my business partner. I like that Elon Musk still keeps his ear to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, he still sees these trends, starts hearing this stuff. I know a lot of people hate him, especially recently, but, people only hate him because he's rich, I think. Like, right? It is what it is. Like,
I listened to, actually, there was a Behind the Bastards podcast about Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of like this. He's on like Steve Jobs level. It's like, yeah, he's kind of an asshole, but like he's not really. I don't think he's an evil person.
I don't think so either. I think he's, you listen to like him on Joe Rogan, which people also hate, but you listen to him there where he's just talking for 3 hours, and you really just hear his mindset. Like, I don't know. He does it, and people always bring up like his father allegedly owned like a diamond mine or an emerald mine in South Africa
he definitely got rich on slavery for sure.
Yeah, which fine, but as far as I know though, he like Elon moved away from Africa and wasn't involved in that at all and didn't get any money from it.
I don't know if I'm pretty sure that he got some kind of lift money wise.
Well, because he worked his way to pay for his own college, apparently.
Well, he like quote unquote like worked his way, but also had like access to $100,000 of quote unquote emergency money whenever he needed it. So he was basically like a rich kid on exchange, and he plays it up like he's like, yeah, I hustled my own way, but it was like a relative got him like a good paying job, and somebody paid for an apartment for him, and then he had like a huge amount of money to fall back on. Like he was never in like he was never broke, he was never poor, he was never like had to grind for it. If he did nothing, he would have been like upper middle class. Sure. Just as like some rich kid. But
yeah, I mean like he's building a Mars colony. So like,
I mean he did work for everything he built for sure, but it wasn't like started at the bottom. He started at the middle and
sure, which I don't think there's any shame. Like okay, obviously slavery notwithstanding. Yeah. I don't think there's any shame in giving your kids a head start in life, right? Obviously, if I have no idea, I haven't really dug into this very deeply. If he actually was running a fucking apartheid emerald mine, okay, he's a dick. But also, shouldn't Elon use his advantage for the best possible? Like,
yeah, they didn't like their dad either. He was a dick. Like him and his brother stole one of his father's emeralds and like fenced it.
Love it.
And they got like shit. They went. Oh, sorry. When I say fenced it, they sold it to Tiffany's. And they got like a few.
You just walk into Tiffany's with a fucking.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can do that.
Okay.
So they walk into Tiffany's and like, but they were like teenagers with this giant emerald, and they paid them a few $100, and their father, whatever, obviously found out. He's like, oh, my giant emerald is missing. Whatever. He just has pockets full of them. That's actually what he was known for, is like walking around with pockets full of emeralds. You just like show them off at parties. But yeah, so for the lesson, this is one of like the big money lessons that Musk learned. But he takes his sons to back to Tiffany's, and they see the emerald on display. Like it was set, they set it like into a ring or something like that, and they'd put it for sale, and it was for sale for like $15,000 or something like that, like a shitload of money. And they had sold it for like $300, and Tiffany's was selling it for $15,000. And his lesson out of that was, get paid more. Like, don't be a shitty negotiator. Know what you're worth. Like, people will steal your money. I don't know what his like lesson was, but that's when he really realized, the value of money. And he's like, oh, I'm just a rich kid, and I had no fucking idea that this giant emerald wasn't a $300 emerald. It was like super, super pure. What are you pouring there, buddy?
Sorry, I'm making a drink.
I'll narrate. There's tonic. There is lime. There was grenadine?
No.
No grenadine. There's ice cubes. Tequila.
That was gin.
Gin, not tequila.
Lime cordial.
God, I'm not paying any attention right now. Lime cordial. Fantastic. But yeah, anyways, as far as bastards go, he was a pretty light bastard.
And there's worse, right?
There's much worse.
Shorts.
Cheers.
Cheers to the Reddit stock trading community.
Hell yeah.
So our businesses have been going okay?
Yes.
Surviving the pandemic. I think it's I have mixed feelings because like 50% of my business owning friends are just fucked right now.
Yeah.
And we're both doing okay.
Better than ever.
Yeah, better than I have my 2020 was the best year ever.
You always have the best year yet, though.
Yeah, every last 4 years. I just hit my 4-year anniversary like a week ago.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
I didn't get you anything.
It's fine. My business has officially lasted longer than any of my relationships.
Nice.
Not really though.
I was gonna say that's no matter what happens, that's gonna be true for the rest of your life.
Shh.
As long as you don't sell.
Or get back together with my ex.
No, but there's a break in there.
We were on a break.
Anyways.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, people evidently are still. I'm in the wine business. If you don't know,
really,
people are drinking at home during a pandemic. I think when they can't do anything else.
Excessively.
Yeah, evidently. So, still doing that. But I had a good year. How about you?
I have been on the same job site for what feels like forever, but it's awesome because it's a $1 million plus house, which in Winnipeg is in Winnipeg dollars is like $1 billion.
It's like upper 1% of the housing costs here.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's a shitload of work. I'm doing like some real premium stuff. Like most people don't spend this much money on, basement and bar and, their fourth bathroom. So it's pretty cool to get these kind of like photos and whatever video I'm going to get later. So that's been really good. And in the meantime, just kind of out of frustration, I had a very kind of pivotal moment when I got Christmas presents for all of my clients because I only had, I think, like 8 clients.
What'd you get them?
So I got a Manitoba shaped bamboo charcuterie board. They were like $50 from a friend of mine who's got a company called the World Table Company. So they make like charcuterie boards and coffee tables and different like furniture pieces in the shape of countries and provinces. Cool. Pretty cool. And so whatever, I bought those from him. And then I bought bottles of cranberry wine from Willows.
Wow.
Because Christmas, which is awesome. And then chocolate bars from the dollar store.
Got them.
But I got like Superstore chocolate bars that were like just cheaper, so that was great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I spent like $80 per bag.
Yeah, which isn't too bad.
Which is quite times 8 that's a good chunk of change.
Okay, I mean like comparatively though, right?
Yeah, so that was... Anyways, so I was going around handing these out, and my first client was also like a mentor of mine for the last 4 or 5 years, and he's a realtor in the city, but also he has a couple of other businesses. He runs a company called Stock Sharks. He runs a company called Canadian Islamic Wealth, and he is also starting up a really cool AI marketing venture, which is... I actually probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably shouldn't get too.
Probably shouldn't talk about it.
But let him talk about it.
He just raised $20 million for it. But yeah, guy's like blowing up. But when I met him, he was just like a realtor, like $200,000 in debt because he opened a nightclub and it failed fantastically. But anyways, he was a really cool guy then, and so I gave him. He got like half my revenue last year because of him and his referrals. So I gave him his Christmas present. We ended up talking for like 30 minutes. Really pissed off my girlfriend who's sitting in the car, and. He's just asking me basic questions like, so, like, where's this business going for you? How much do you want to make? Like, what do you want to do this year? Like, what are your goals? And because I hadn't really been thinking about this, I just, head down, just working. I couldn't give him any answers that I liked. Like, I felt like a shithead sitting there answering, like, these questions, like, really weak answers. And I'm like, I feel like such an asshole. And I went to, a couple days off that I had for Christmas, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I was just in such a bad mood all the way through Christmas, which is not great, but I basically got to the point where I'm like, you know what, I gotta stop just being complacent, sitting on my ass. I'm like, I've just been doing status quo for a while, and I don't like it. It makes me really uncomfortable. I don't want to have same year twice. So, yeah, kind of had that revelation. Reached back out to this guy. Long story short, looks like I'm probably gonna be getting some cash injection.
Much needed cash injection.
Yeah, much needed cash injection because holy shit, equipment is expensive. I'm like $15,000 into equipment. Now I've got like, I want to get into a different product line, and it's like I need like $5-6 to start.
Wow. Yeah, that's like when I wanted to start making cans and I had to spend $400,000 on a canning line.
Exactly.
Anger.
Hey, $4,000 was a lot when you first started too.
I don't think so. I'm rich as fuck. Just kidding.
But yeah, not just that, but he's also a marketing genius. So he's going to be taking on marketing responsibilities and, basically, and having a massive real estate brand. He's super connected in the city. Going to help grow the business. And basically all I got to do is hire, train, operate, be efficient, and be able to handle as many people he's going to bring in. So it's a very different mindset shift over a very short amount of time. So I'm like kind of fucking panicking every day, waking up in cold sweats, being like, oh, I'm an idiot. Like this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. And you just get so inside your head, right?
Well, and I guess, can you speak to the kind of, when you have, like, because he could possibly make the demand go higher than what you're able to provide.
Oh, very easily.
Yeah. So how can someone listening with some sort of business, if they have they find a partner like this that could bring them more than they can, hope to provide. Like, they're going to get a purchase order that's much bigger than they're producing right now. What's your plan to deal with this?
Well, this is, I've thought about being in every kind of business over the years because, this is the first business that's actually been mine. So I've had the luxury of being like looking at a blank slate and being like, what could I do? Everything from like, do I want to start a SaaS company, like software as a service company? Do I want to have software as a product company? Do I want to have, do I want to be in tech at all? Do I want to be in manufacturing? Do I want to be in real estate? Do I want to be investing? Do I want to be in marketing? Do I want to be in sales? Do I want to be in construction? Do I want to be in cars? Like, those are all the things that I've touched.
We could have retired.
Entertainment.
We could have retired if we bought GameStop 3 days ago.
Fucking hell. Just end the podcast right there. Yeah, investing, day trading, like everything. I've looked at everything, and no matter what you look at, there's always going to be something that is going to be your breaking point. So for manufacturing, it's always you're always like 6 months behind your money.
Yeah.
You're always scrambling.
I know.
Yeah, you're always scrambling cash together, because you need enough money to make stuff to sell in 6 months. You need the equipment, you need the materials, you need the time.
And then it's fucking,
especially when you're
30,
fermenting.
60, 90 days to get paid by any of your fucking...
Right, so you have net terms that are way against you. So your income is against you, your cash outlay is against you, your equipment is against you, and time is against you. Those are your challenges. But what's not against you is really client acquisition, consistent growth.
I mean, depending on what you're manufacturing.
In your case specifically.
My case, yeah.
Like your distribution, your recurring customers, like when you acquire customers, they're going to keep buying because you make good product. Like, once you nail your recipes and your marketing, it's just, you just turn that crank and you go and you go and you go.
Yeah, historically, our biggest problem has been keeping up with demand.
Right, exactly. So that's your set of challenges.
Yeah.
Operationally, you're not going to have that much of a challenge besides like being creative and resourceful like your partner is.
Yeah.
For contracting, and I've also experienced in property management, and obviously a bunch of other businesses are like this, where the demand is always there if you're, competent. And like, I don't really need that much help in marketing. What I almost more so need is like a financial backstop, but also like the second eye on branding and proactive marketing, because I can't do that and be an operator at the same time.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I go out there and do marketing, this other part of my brain is like, oh wait, but can you fulfill? And then I like hold myself back.
Yeah.
And I'll pull punches. I won't close hard. I won't sell hard. I won't promote hard. Right? So when you split those two things, like you and your business partner have, that's much easier. So
which I guess is something to be said about being a sole proprietorship, besides being a partnership.
Yeah, it's
a different. I wouldn't say there's pros or cons for both. I wouldn't say there's either one is better than the other. Like there's
if you're gonna be sole proprietorship, like I don't think there's not a lot of businesses that work like that, because you have to hire out if you're a sole proprietorship, you got to be able to hire out those competencies very quickly.
Yeah,
which means
because you can't do everything yourself.
Exactly. You absolutely can't. If you're not going to solve it through partners, you're going to need to do it through employees, which means
you need a bookkeeper, you need an accountant, you need a lawyer, you need...
Well, not even just that. Like I'm talking, you need the sales marketing side, sales marketing brand, and then you need the operations side at its fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard to be both of those people, especially for very long.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, a lot of people don't... Well, what do you think the split is between people that start businesses with actual money and me?
Exactly. Like that's the other thing is
because like
if you're only good at like the one thing, which is like the sales, marketing, raising money, you can overcome all those problems with a lot of money
because you raise money and then you can just hire those people and then
right. But you're gonna also have problems with your first hires. And I've been that guy who partnered up with somebody with money, and I was that first hire, and I like fulfilled all those weaknesses, but the hires that you need are typically going to be people that you can't keep happy or afford to keep.
Yeah, because they get sick of making $15 an hour at some point.
Exactly. So it's very rocky, but I don't know if you've heard much about this, but when you are, especially in tech companies, looking to raise venture capital or anything in the venture capital realm, they actually very much frown upon sole proprietorships. They don't like them at all.
Okay.
And oftentimes I won't even look at them.
That's specifically for what we're talking about, like because it's hard to...
Because they see it as a unstable venture.
Sure.
Because if you have an assembled team with separate competencies, they see something that they can inject cash into and scale up because those people are locked in and they're committed.
Yeah.
And they're committed with their specific competencies. If you have a sole proprietor with a bunch of people working for them, that's much less stable because what if those 3, 4, 5 core people that they have don't stick?
Or you have a bad quarter, there's no money to make payroll, everyone leaves, and Buddy can't just pick up the slack because he doesn't fucking know how to pick up the slack.
Right, and even Silicon Valley money doesn't like that investment because even though like Silicon Valley is notorious for this, like, oh, you want to start this kind of company, you need this kind of marketing guy, this kind of operations guy, this kind of tech guy. It's like, okay, look through the Rolodex in the categories. Oh, there's this, and you like just Lego together a company and a team, and then you have a new, unicorn startup.
And they raised $10 billion and
exactly, like even Silicon Valley that has that
capability.
Yeah, even Silicon Valley with that capability, with those connections, that Rolodex of experienced people that they can pay premium wages, they still don't like sole proprietorships.
Interesting.
Because it's just there's a reason that companies have boards.
Yeah, because capitalists are greedy.
Yeah, we're all hogs and evil. What I've realized about myself on a really fundamental level that made me want to... I've now unofficially hired my first person. Woo! Yeah, exactly. That's also why I'm not sleeping very well. But
tell me about it.
Yeah, so I'm good at operations, but here's the breaking point. If you're good at operations and optimizing systems and so on and so forth, whatever the fuck you put on your resume, bear with me, that doesn't apply when they're your systems and your processes and it's your operation.
Like, I'm good at working inside of processes. Okay, well, which process are you going to invent?
Right. No, it's like if you're the one that does them all every day and made them initially, you're not going to see a better way very easily because like your personal bias and the fact that you're just doing it all the time makes you utterly fucking blind. Like, it is so much easier to walk into a job site and just watch people work and be like, oh my God, these guys are doing all this shit wrong.
Yeah.
But if you're that guy on the job site that just walked back and forth 7 times, picking up a tool, put it down, pick it up, put it down.
You're like, I'm just doing my job, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And you can't optimize until you get more eyes and people that fucking think for themselves.
Well, and I guess that's why a lot of businesses hire consultants and shit.
Yeah, and get you hire consultants and then you like take their advice for a week and then you go back to doing what you were doing before in most cases.
Yeah, but that's just selfishness. Like, that's just human nature. Like, you watch fucking Kitchen Nightmares and they all go back to what they were doing.
Most people, yeah.
Every time I like Kitchen Nightmares, I think it's a good show. I like the whole business aspect of like a Food Network show.
Yeah, I love it. I binged that so hard in the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, me too. And I always Google them at the end of the thing. There's like a website that's like keeps up with them to see if they're still around. It's like 1 in 100 are fucking still around. Yeah. And if you read the explanation, it's like, yep, they went back to their switched everything back and then fucking went out of business.
Yeah, and even the ones that do well, like they went mostly back.
It's like I don't fucking people are like
they can't get out of their own way.
They're like, I'm losing 20 grand a month, and then Gordon Ramsay tells them they're wrong, and they're like, no, I'm not wrong, you're wrong. It's like, I'm not losing 20 grand a month.
It's like, you're an idiot. Who are you? What do you know? He's like,
why'd you call me?
You called me.
Yeah.
Like I'm the famous one.
Yeah, it's
motherfucker. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
That's how most consultants' legacy ends up going, which is forever, because that's how my brain works. Like, I really wanted to be a consultant to go fix businesses, and the more I learned about consultants, the more I'm like, oh, they don't make one goddamn difference.
I also, not only do they, I think the good ones don't make a difference, and most of them are hacks.
Yeah, that are just 100%.
That are just trying to make fucking money off your failing business.
So the only people that are gonna get satisfaction from a consultant, I think, is probably like the guy who's like, we need to hire an outside consultant and fix this, like a board member or whatever. That guy that said that and like paid the money is gonna feel some satisfaction that he like did something.
Yeah,
that's the only guy that wins. He scratched an itch, the consultant scratched it, and then you still have
I guess it's like a cycle of like businesses fail, so consultants become a thing to help businesses not fail. So failing businesses hire them, but then they never get fixed. So there's like a hole in the circle. It's not a whole complete circle.
And not because the consultants don't tell them exactly what they need to hear.
Because they just don't listen.
They typically will. But
also, it's not.
They won't follow through.
Am I being a dick when I say it's not that hard to run a business?
You're not.
I bet you could Google most of your fucking problems.
But that's the thing.
But the problem is applying that knowledge is the problem.
Oh, the problem is the information is never, access to information is never the problem. Like I was telling a guy today who's got like 35 years experience in contracting.
Well, it can never be the problem because we have unlimited access to knowledge now.
Right. Yeah, I'm telling this guy who's got 35 years experience. He went, he's got his journeyman apprenticeship, whatever, like forever ago. And I'm telling him that like I learned most of my trade on YouTube. And I'm like, this is a pretty recent thing that, guys like tile guys, from around the world that are extremely good at their craft, that have well-established, like 60-year running union mandated ways of doing things. Yeah. They're part of this union. They got to do this certain thing. If you're part of the union, get warranty and whatever, however their systems work in like California and shit. None of that's relevant here, but I can learn some of those techniques and adapt them and be like, hey, that's way better than anybody's doing it around here. And I can have access to this, 40 years of heritage and information. And it's all fucking free on YouTube. Yeah. But this boomer looks at me, he's like, you learned how to do contracting on YouTube? Like I'm some kind of asshole. And I'm like, I mean, you got to be competent and, be able to actually do what they're telling you. But yeah.
Well, yeah,
100%.
My people always ask my partner how he learned how to make wine. He's like probrewer.com forums and fucking practice. Like, yeah.
And like not a lot of practice. He does not fuck up a lot.
No, not
like hardly ever.
Hardly ever.
Never actually. I don't think he's never made a mistake.
Not that I'll admit to publicly.
Never lost a batch.
Not that never. Not that I'll publicly admit to on a podcast, but
I've never seen him fuck up, and I'm one of your closest friends.
Well, yeah, I guess you are.
Yeah.
You're in my A level, yeah.
You bastard.
They should make a Behind the Bastards on Willows.
Oh, God,
I'm sure they will.
So you
I'm
know
sure
who I
will.
want them to do a feature on?
Huh.
Nygaard.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
You want to talk about Nygaard? That's kind of like the last 3 months.
Yeah, I guess. Google Peter Nygaard.
It's what Winnipeg. It's what our city is really known for outside of our city. People here don't give a fuck about him. But, they kind of laugh about him.
Yeah, we have a very large there's a guy in our city made a clothing brand called Nygaard. He's just this crazy fucking Finnish guy, made this clothing brand or whatever. He's worth like $1 billion, I think. He has like a New York office. They're not insignificant. Like they have but he gets these big billboards of just his face and stuff. Like he's a whatever. And then
giant ego.
Yeah, just came out recently. He's been indicted now by the FBI. He had a Epstein style child sex island in the Bahamas.
Yep, and he also used that island to really, he liked fucking with everyone. He fucked with the local authorities.
Yeah, he pissed off the like Guatemalan authorities or Bermuda or wherever he was.
He would fly in guests without checking in with customs.
Yeah,
and he would fly in workers to do stuff on his island.
And he fucked up the banks or whatever, like the erosion. Like he just built the fucking driveway and shit where you can't do it. And
yeah.
He was doing all this shit. But yeah, so allegedly he's been raping children for 30-40 years.
Well, plus of other women, young women, and
bunch of people have
teenagers. There's over 90 people came forward just from his, I guess in his professional quote unquote wake, never mind the human trafficking part of it.
Yeah. He's we know people that have gone to his cabin.
Yeah, I know someone that went to his one of his private islands that's within Canada here.
Yeah, he's on a lake.
Yeah, it's a private island. It's got a bunch of buildings on it. It's its own resort, and I guess this person was connected to a promoter, and I guess he contacted this promoter, and the promoter's like, yeah, I can get you a bunch of people and girls and whatever, throw a party on your island.
Yeah.
Which is really kind of very innocent. And there was no strings attached to it. None of the girls had to do anything. It was all people, of age. There's nothing sketchy, fucking rich people do that all the time. I'll just get this promoter to bring girls on my yacht and do photos.
Yeah.
It's just a very generic rich dude asshole thing to do. And yeah, the way that this person described it was okay, seems kind of like a dick, but doesn't seem like a psychopath or a crazy person. Just seems a little bit self-obsessed and has a cool island.
My friend...
But it's so much worse than that.
Yeah, my friend worked for him, in operations and purchasing, pretty high up, to the point where he met him once or twice, talked to him once or twice a week, pretty high up in this organization. He was telling me stories, because he would have to come out to this the island all the time and help the basically work. But he got to party, but he had to work while he was there, maintaining stuff and cleaning shit. And apparently Nygaard screamed at this kid and fired him. But then, they weren't going back to the mainland for 3 days, so they made him live in a shed for 3 days. He's you're not fucking coming back in my house. You're fired. And he's well, can someone take me back? He's no, fuck you. You're not wasting gas on my boat. Put him in a shed without any heat or anything, and he had to just sleep there for 3 days before they went back to the mainland. And he was making my buddy who worked for him bring him food and stuff. After everyone ate, bring him fucking whatever.
It's what do you do in that? Do you call the police? Be he's kind of
kidnapping. Yeah,
it's kind of kidnapping.
Yeah, and he would call citywide meetings with all his stores, and they would all come to the headquarters, and he would just get up on stage, talk about himself for 20 minutes, and then just walk off and leave the building. And then the managers were sorry, we brought you all here.
Sounds like somebody else I used to work for.
Yeah. So,
but that actually, I know a guy, or I went to high school with.
This is all alleged as well. These are just hearsay.
But we haven't actually talked about this before. That story.
No, I'm talking about Nygaard.
Yes.
For legal purposes.
Absolutely.
That was all alleged.
This is all anecdotal.
Yeah.
100%.
That was all alleged.
He said, she said, we said, maybe, possibly.
I think he's been indicted. He's been charged.
Oh, he's in fucking jail. He's in remand.
Yeah, he is in jail. Yeah, so he has... I don't know if he's found guilty by the time we're recording
I think it's
this.
still in process.
He's an alleged child rapist, serial child
anyways,
rapist. Anyway,
legal aside, I know a guy that was his head like videographer.
Yeah.
And so this guy like did video of all the models, all the facilities, like for all their marketing material, internal, external, whatever. He did all their video. So he was at those meetings and he described them exactly the same, where like if you were in the building when Nygaard was there, like you would hear, like if you were
you could hear him screaming.
If you were 2 floors away, you would hear him screaming at people in boardrooms.
Yeah.
And yeah, he would host meetings, just like talk about himself. Either he was talking about himself and bragging and like, propping up his own ego, or he was screaming at someone. It was just an absolute fucking psychopath by the end of it.
Yeah, he was crazy. And this is also like an 80-year-old man, I'm pretty sure now. Like,
yeah, no, he was, maybe he was an effective, like, have you heard the stories of like how he kind of got famous, how he brought himself up?
No.
So one of the things, he's like the epitome of fake till you make it.
Yeah.
He would, like his first fashion shows that he went to, when he had whatever, his first models on stage, first major show, he paid people to basically be fake paparazzi and fake fans, and he hired like a limo service with a security escort, and like spent more money than he had to spend just showing up to this fashion show with a bunch of fake fans, with fake paparazzi, fake security guards, and like a fake envoy of vehicles. So he fucking rolls in like that, rolls in and out, and people are like, oh my God, who is this? Nygaard? I don't know this person. Like, I should know this person. And then especially in the fashion industry, it's like, it's like
whatever eyes are on, that's what's good, right? Like,
yeah, it's like a who's who thing. So it's like, oh, he must be somebody. Like, this is somebody. Like, you've probably seen those like YouTube pranks where they're like, they're just like screaming over a random person, then all of a sudden people start gathering around getting autographs from this person that's a nobody.
Yeah.
It's that he used that a couple of times until like the paparazzi were real, because they're like, oh my God, there's something happening here. So apparently that's how he
where I would do
made
that
his dent.
Where I would do that as a move, he probably did that because his ego needed it.
I think he did it as a move.
You think this guy's... I think he's insane. I think this is a crazy person.
I think he became insane.
Because...
I think his, the fame, the fashion, the power, I think it probably fucking got to him, because, like, there's a photo of him sitting between, was it Pierre Trudeau?
Yeah, and like George...
The U.S. president.
George S.W. Bush or whatever.
Yeah, George S.W. Bush. And the Mexican president.
Yeah, negotiating
while
NAFTA.
While they're negotiating NAFTA.
Yeah,
like he was like in the group of like a handful of people that were there.
Yeah,
like,
he was the Manitoba representative to negotiate NAFTA.
I think this guy is fucking elbow deep in Epstein's ass.
I think they probably knew each other.
The odds that they didn't is low.
Yeah, it's hard to say. What do you?
It's our very own hometown pedophile.
What is that? Why is Hollywood all pedophiles? What is that?
It's not Hollywood. It's just
no. Like Hollywood is all pedophiles, though.
Okay, fair, but allegedly. But
no, okay. Well, that's not even alleged. That's all real.
I think it just has to do a lot with the type of people that become super rich and billionaires. Like there's like a certain personality type that is also like
conducive to stuff, because
that is like the same archetype as the type of person that is and becomes a pedophile.
Sociopathic like behavior, that like power fantasy, power like
it's power control,
all that. That's inducive to being successful at business, but also because I'm fairly certain, I'm not a doctor. I'm a shrugging doctor, but I'm not a doctor. I would assume that most of these people aren't like attracted to children. I think the whole like they just want power over somebody younger than them because that like satisfied like
they're scratching a different itch.
It's not like
it's not the same itch as like I like children, but it's also like obviously we know nothing about this. Fuck, one of our Mexico episodes we actually talked about this.
Oh, you're talking
child
about
pornography.
Pornography and trafficking,
yeah. But anyways, I find it horrifying and fascinating all at the same time, especially now, where it's bigger than it's ever been before.
Like it's obviously awful. We don't talk about it because we find it
fun,
interesting. Like, yeah, we don't find it entertaining, like entertainment.
But holy shit, why?
We find it interesting, human psychology wise, like.
But yeah, I think it's exploitation. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
it's the exploitative. I got one over on you. I won. So I used to work for an asshole that the worst thing I ever heard him say is he's like, nothing turns me on more than humiliating a man in front of his wife.
Mood.
He was fucking genuine.
Yeah.
This was like a moment of like honest,
like looking in on himself, like.
Yeah, he was being vulnerable. It was a moment of vulnerability.
Yeah.
And he said this, and I was like...
When he's dead now, so we can talk about what he said. We won't say his name.
Like, I don't know... What do you say to that?
Yeah.
What do you say?
I can...
He's like a Jordan... Think about Wolf of Wall Street. It's like that type of personality. Imagine Leo DiCaprio being like, there's nothing turns me on more than like humiliating a man in front of his wife, closing the deal, taking his money, and his wife like takes his credit card out of his wallet and is like, you're a fucking bitch, let me do this for you, like, and then she looks at me with desire in her eyes, like that. Imagine Leo DiCaprio saying that in that character of Jordan Belfort. Like, if you can visualize that, that's who this person was.
Yeah,
they fucking exist.
And like I can sympathize. Not sympathize, but like empathize with that kind of feeling. Like, I get a lot of personal I wouldn't say sexual satisfaction, but I get a lot of personal satisfaction from winning.
Yes,
and like proving
everyone does. But
fair. Well, not everyone. But
the difference is, you have empathy.
Yeah, I do. Well, I like to think I do.
You have empathy.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Some people don't.
Fair.
That's the difference. Some people are just sociopaths and psychopaths, and like that, like they say about politicians, like if you're a good person, you can only get so far in politics.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah, which like it is what it is, right? Like
at some point you got to be true to yourself and your values, and if you want to be successful in politics, you gotta 100% sell out and just do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah. Yeah, so like when it comes to these like elite pedophile rings and stuff like that, I think I'm more inclined to believe that they weren't necessarily always felt like that, but then the more powerful they get, like it's like a drug addict chasing a high,
like
right?
Upping the ante. It's like a fatalistic risk or reward, and you got to keep upping the ante.
You're chasing the high. Like fucking taking people's money doesn't feel good anymore, so you need to beat them at public office. It's like, okay, now you're the fucking...
Now you have power.
Hypothetically, the president of the United States, and winning doesn't fucking feel good anymore because you've won everything. Right. Now it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to go fucking murder some kids.
and to be fair, I think QAnon is a load of fucking horseshit.
No, I don't. I am QAnon.
Okay. Well, hello, Q.
Anyway.
No, just because, like, I've looked, like, the origins of that, it's just, like, really fucking pathetic. Like, it's just literally some internet trolls that eventually someone 100%. Started to take seriously.
QAnon's gone like mainstream a lot, but like I've known about this for years.
Yeah, no, it's been around for a long time. Like since like fucking 4chan evolved to 8chan, evolved to Parler, evolved to what's the other one now? Not Parler.
Well, the chat room one, like the video one,
not Telegram. Anyways, it's evolved through different social medias that keep getting booted off and whatever censored.
My favorite now. So my problem with the Q, like I don't need to explain it. Google QAnon. If QAnon.
We'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, Google that if you want to know what we're talking about for context. But my problem. Or not my problem, but what I find hilarious is that they just keep like they refuse to take an L and they just keep moving the goalposts because
yeah, I know. Well, that's because it's like it's a decentralized thing and it's just everything has to be confirming.
What it was like, and this has been going on for years. But what it was, Trump is playing 5D chess, and
right
when the election happens, instead of the election happening he's gonna walk out on stage, and JFK Jr. is gonna be there, and Princess Diana is gonna be there, and they all fake their deaths, and they've been, working to arrest the underground cabal, and now they're back, and they take over, and they arrest and they execute fucking Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and all the pedophiles or whatever, and that was like what it was gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
And QAnon, the guy Q was actually JFK Jr., who didn't actually die in that plane crash. And, that they actually believe that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then so it was like, yeah, so this is all happening. And then it didn't happen. And they're like, okay, well, he's going to win a second term, and he's going to do it at the end of his second term.
Right.
Then he loses the election.
Right.
So then they go, no, wait. He lost on purpose. Or no, he didn't lose. It was fraud. And then he comes out and says, yeah, I accept the results of the election. And they go, okay, maybe it wasn't fraud, but he was baiting the Democrats into committing fraud so he could...
Right, it's an evolving story.
So he could, whatever. And then he's like, nah, I just concede. And then they're like, okay, he's conceding because 5D chess, because now...
He's going to run again.
Because I think the one that's going on right now is that they changed, or when they amended the Constitution, it was like after the 13th president or the 12th president. And now the Constitution that the original 12 presidents were on is a different Constitution than I don't know anything about American fucking history, but it's like a different Constitution. So now Trump, and the inauguration used to be March 4th every year.
Yeah.
So now Trump's going to come back on March 4th and become the first president of the Republic of the United States, or the 13th president of the old Constitution, and like execute Joe Biden and whatever.
I can't wait till March 4th.
Yeah, so but then March 4th comes around and it doesn't happen. And
nothing will happen. Yeah.
You ever watch Parks and Recreation? There's like a doomsday cult, and
no.
He's like,
I've only seen the memes.
He's like a reoccurring character in this like it's about small town government, right? So there's this reoccurring character that's like heads this doomsday cult. He's like, I added up all the numbers in the Bible, and they want to like book the park for their rapture party where they all sell off their possessions and get sucked up to the heavens. And the main cast of characters works in the Parks and Rec department, right? So they have to like rent the park from them.
Yeah.
But the joke is like twice a season he like comes in to rent the park again because it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
And like that's the joke, and it's like he's like, oh no, I calculated it wrong, and he's like, okay, so what number are we pushing it back to? Like whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's like that. It's like they fucking, it just doesn't happen, and then they're like, oh no, this was always meant to happen. And then I remember there was this fucking like there was this journalist that infiltrated this like QAnon Discord chat or whatever.
Yeah.
To like, and like screenshotted the funniest things. And right after he like conceded the election and like fucking just left the White House and everything, his words, not mine. I'm putting in quotes. If you're watching the video on youtube.com/VoteWillows, I think, you can see me doing air quotes. That's my one podcast shout out of to watch
plug.
The plug. He said, guys, there was this guy on Discord is like, guys, actually I think it wasn't 5D chess. I think Trump was just retarded the entire time.
Most likely, yes.
Like, so it's
the guy didn't take any intelligence briefings, and I think that's all we need to say.
It's just so fucking ridiculous. Like,
it's like, yes, he actually is a moron. Believe it or not, morons can get public office.
Well, I don't trust the government at all. I think they've done horrible things. I think they do horrible things. I think half the things we know about that has been declassified about them poisoning and killing, sterilizing, the kidnapping, whatever, their own citizens over the last, 100 years, I think is only a fraction of what we actually know about.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these clandestine fucking CIA operations, they don't write anything down.
Well, they have no oversight.
Yeah, well, they don't write anything down, right? We don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And then
like the U.S. budget that's in like utter blackness of you have no idea what it got spent on, where, when, how, who.
You look
is billions of think how much you can get done with billions of dollars.
Well, and then you look at like Iran-Contra and everything like that.
Ugh.
It's like we're selling weapons to enemies they're selling weapons to or they're selling drugs to enemies, or like drugs to drug cartels to fund buying weapons to provide from enemies to provide to rebels. Like it's because they're like, how do we make the money? We can't tax people more. Okay, let's sell cocaine.
Right, and the CIA brought crack cocaine into the black neighborhoods so that they could destabilize things like the Black Panthers, which were doing really good things. They're making good progress, and this is like a written CIA mandate of how do we suppress the black population. It's like, oh, we need to make them fight each other, become addicted to drugs,
you watch
make their gangs turn against each other, and
watch,
let instead of having like Black Wall Street, black businesses being successful, Black Wall Street is now turned into the fucking ghetto. Like that was all orchestrated by the fucking CIA.
Wasn't Black Wall Street, they put Central Park over? Wasn't that the thing?
No, Black Wall Street was in Tulsa, not Tulsa.
I think it was. I'm pretty sure.
Where was the massacre?
Philadelphia, where they firebombed a black community.
Yes,
that was like Philadelphia.
They like literally used like civilian planes and firebombed. Yeah. Anyways, Black Wall Street. I think it's in the south.
I think they put over the. I think that's where Central Park is. They demolished affluent black community. And
probably, but that wasn't what I'm.
Different thing.
That's not black. That's another. That's another time they did it. Of the many times
we were talking. We were talking. Me and JL and Mitch were talking yesterday about the CIA or whomever the U.S. government set up like women's health clinics in black communities, and sterilized a bunch of like poor black women,
definitely,
so that they couldn't have children.
And vaccine, because that's very relevant right now. CIA used vaccine programs in poor black communities to deploy. Was it syphilis?
Yeah, they gave a bunch of people syphilis.
They gave
just to see what would happen.
Yeah. They basically just like live clinical experiment, like, oh, what if we give a shitload of black people syphilis without telling them and just tell them it's a flu shot?
Yeah.
There's a good reason that something like 60% of Americans don't trust vaccines.
Well, in like MK Ultra, they were dosing people with LSD to see if they could make super soldiers. Like,
well, no, they were using LSD to. Anyways,
read
the book Rage, but they use LSD as a catalyst to brainwash people. LSD itself,
yeah.
LSD is fine. It's great. It's a good drug. You should have it. Lots of it.
Last point on this. You seen the movie Boys in the Hood?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ice Cube. Lawrence Fishburne has a monologue in that movie where he takes his kid to Compton or whatever, and there's this billboard of home flippers, and it's like Saigon homes, or like, because this is Korean home flippers, and he's saying like these are people that don't live in this community that buy and then gentrify the community, and then he's talking about like why are, there's what's on every single corner in Compton, a gun store and a liquor store.
Yeah.
And you go to fucking, another part of LA, you go to Hollywood, you don't see a fucking gun store at all. And that's because that's all deliberate. They want, the black community to eat itself and kill each other. He's like, they want us out here killing other black people.
Yeah. 100%.
And so this was all my, every time we talk about anti-government stuff, but this was all coming around to say that I do not trust the government at all. But have some fucking criticisms of the government. Not JFK Jr.'s alive and he's gonna take over the like, what are you talking about? Like,
let me tie that back to what I first talked about, which is the cycle of people being pro-government, hating government, and so on. It's because people are looking for an answer to a question they have. And for example, in a democracy, let's say at best / at worst, 50-50, you're not going to get what you want.
Yeah.
So
mob rule.
Right, exactly. So when an election doesn't go your way, and you think it should have gone your way because everyone that you know believes the same thing that you fucking do, and everything that you see on the media is exactly what you fucking think, and everything you see on TV is the same fucking thing, which is because you're polarized and watching one side, and then you lose an election, you're like, how can that be? Everyone in the world agrees with me. And then all of a sudden, you need an explanation for that, and then the explanation from the people that you believe in is it was stolen from you by the other.
So,
like that, and then people look for an explanation, and they will latch onto whatever because critical thinkers are motherfucking rare, and you cannot expect people to do it.
So, you can definitely tell we haven't done this in a while.
Oh,
because
why would we?
We usually have a segment that we do each episode at the beginning. No, we didn't do this segment this episode.
Shot caller.
Yep.
I was gonna ask you, but we were already drinking hard liquor, so.
So we have this
Bottom shelf gin.
Hey, it's middle shelf. So welcome to the segment we call Shot Caller. This is the part of the episode where you, the audience, can pick the shot that we take on air. We usually do this right at the beginning of the episode. We usually take 1 or 2 shots just to make sure the alcohol kind of hits us as we discuss the topics. But we have not recorded an episode in 3 months and fucking completely forgot. We also forgot to take a picture right at the beginning, which we always do.
It's fine.
It's fun. But we'll get back into it. But today we're taking a shot of some just Bombay gin. And
middle shelf gin. Woo!
Middle shelf gin. It's middle, maybe middle bottom, but
it's alright.
It's alright.
Woo! That does not hit the same as when you're sober. Yeah, Willows takes shots like a bitch.
It's such a weird thing, eh? Because
you love alcohol, but you cannot take straight liquor.
Yeah, but yeah. No, it's I always tell people I'm a marathon drinker, not a sprint drinker.
Yeah,
I can.
But I mean, like the taste.
I like the taste though. It's like I don't cringe like that tastes bad. I get like a shake because it's just like I don't know. It's weird.
But do you sip straight hard liquor?
Scotch.
Okay.
Not anything under like $60 a bottle.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I like
just sipping some fucking Smirnoff.
yeah. But no, yeah, like Scotch I will. But
okay.
Or I like an old fashioned and
that's not straight.
Essentially, it's like a fucking whiskey and a sugar cube, like pretty much.
And bitters.
Yeah, okay.
And some zest.
Actually, I don't think it is a sugar cube. I think it's
a sugar cube.
Is it?
Yep.
It's whiskey, bitters. A sugar cube, an orange peel.
Yeah, orange zest and bitters.
Yeah. I like one of those.
Or is there syrup in there too?
I don't think there.
I think it's sugar cube or syrup.
Yeah.
Anyways, we don't know fucking anything.
Yeah, I own a.
It's not like you're a bartender or anything.
Yeah, I own a bar and I own a liquor manufacturer, and I barely know.
But you can't serve old fashions to your defense.
Not right now.
No, not at this moment.
But yeah, I don't know.
Wink.
But I always say, I can take, if you pour me half shots, I can do that 5 times as long as you can do full shots.
Math checks out.
Yeah, I don't know. Fuck it.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt your tolerance level. It just I think it's funny that you squirm on the taste.
I agree. It's interesting.
Yeah, I just straight raw dog, spicy, sour, hard liquor. I love it.
You're also Mexican, so.
And on that note, what are you drinking, Willows?
Some local beer.
Fog Machine.
Fog Machine, shout out Kilter Brewing Company. You're drinking some Bikey McBikeface, shout out Half Pints Brewing Company.
Best beer they make.
Yeah, we didn't talk about what we're drinking. Man, we're all over the fucking place today.
Mess. But so glad to be here because
I'm very happy.
Like I've been just doing podcasts and audiobooks for months.
Listening
and I have so many thoughts just ping-ponging around my head. This is like my catharsis. This is my weekly therapy, and literally. I haven't been having it, and I'm really fucked up.
I haven't seen you in like 3 months.
I know, it's really weird.
It's sad.
It was funny when when you guys like came over the other day, and it was almost like awkward for the first hour.
Yeah, it was like I felt weird. I was like,
like even Carly commented. She's like, "That's like you guys were like." It was like hanging out with my friends because her friends are all like super introverted and like her quote unquote like closest friend group.
Yeah.
they all treat each other like strangers, which is hilarious.
Well, it was
it was like a really herky jerky awkward conversation.
Yeah, it was like we're talking about fucking like tiles and like just bullshit, like shit I don't care about.
Yeah, it was small talk, right?
Yeah, it was like
which we never do.
Yeah.
But it was funny because you just like called it out. But the thing is, we're all at some level just still like so comfortable around each other.
Yeah.
That you could just be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, but it was
like, yeah, good point. And then we just like could pivot, right? So there was still a level.
But it was definitely man, I've probably lost fucking social and sales skills.
Brain cells.
A lot
of brain cells. Fucking
from
rip.
fucking well, and I and both of us are still going to work every day, but I fucking pity these people. Like, well, even my roommate is fucking hasn't left the house and like
so much damage, man.
You know, this is
so
it's fucked for people. Like you know, my workload is significantly decreased. My bar's closed. My store's reduced hours. Like, I'm not doing any events. Like, you know, it is what it is. And I can't do outward sales calls or anything like that. My workload is significantly reduced, but I can still go to the fucking office every day.
Right.
And still see my partner, see my employees legally. But like, fuck, man, like people are fucking just sitting at home. Like,
see, on that note, like a lot of people are really frustrated. They're like, oh, fuck the libs, fuck the Democrats. You're like they're all pro lockdown. Like the businesses are suffering. We should be able to go back to work. It's like, okay, I agree with that, but also there's a thing called a pandemic, and it's happening outside. It's happening all over the place. And there's like.
Well, there's
literal mountains of bodies.
I guess there's 3 or 4 levels of people here. There's people that just think the pandemic doesn't exist.
Yep, I love those people.
This is all bullshit. I think that's a minority.
Yep.
There's people that think the pandemic exists, but the government has no right or no...
It exists, but it's overblown.
Oh, okay, sure, overblown. Then there's the people
that think...
level
3.
Sure, but then there's people that think that is exactly... like what they're telling us is real,
but it is.
They're handling it completely wrong.
Because
we should be quarantining
is inconveniencing me.
Well, yeah, but we should be quarantining the elderly and the most at risk and the people that are strong,
which is 30% of the population, FYI.
Yeah, but the people that are strong immune system should be going to work. That's another group of people.
Yeah, which is still, if you do the math, like if the unemployment rate was 35%. You'd have a problem.
I think it is.
No, it's like around...
Ours was 25% last month.
It's around 10.
No, it's 25%, buddy.
Oh, it's like 10.
No.
Unemployment is not 25%.
Like last month it was, yeah.
No, it is not.
In this province, it literally is.
Okay, maybe like people staying at home right now, but like...
Yeah, well, that's what
unemployment...
That's what that means. People that can work.
People that like can't go back to work because there's no job for them.
Yeah, because the job's fucking closed right now.
Well, at this moment because of lockdown, but no, like if post lockdown, the job no longer exists.
Well, let's see how many fucking
10%.
businesses.
It's about 10%.
Let's see how many fucking businesses survive after this fucking lockdown.
Okay, fair enough. But anyways, it's around 10% in North America. You know, unemployment was previously like creeping below 2%. Now it's over 10, which is insane growth, obviously. But if you cannot, like, the vulnerable population argument is not real. It doesn't exist. It's not possible because you need about 80% of the population needs to get the virus and recover from it
to have herd immunity,
to have quote unquote like semi-effective
which
herd immunity.
Doesn't matter if the fucking disease is
it doesn't matter when
new strains and shit.
When 30% of the population is at risk and you need 80% to get it and recover, like do the fucking math.
Well, the other 10% of that 30 need to get it and die.
Right.
And then we're fine.
Right, exactly. So just kill off. It's fine.
Hashtag boomer remover.
But it's not possible. Like you can't.
We can kill 10% of our population.
I'm not okay. Yes, 100% you can do that. What you can't do is isolate the at-risk people.
Well, that was weird. Like apparently, what they did with Spanish flu was everyone just got it, and then
millions of people died. It was
fine.
Fine.
It was like 2/3 of the earth died. Not 2/3, like 1/3.
Black Plague is what you're probably thinking of.
No,
Black
like
Death. Spanish flu was...
I think it was like 1 in 4 people died, or 1 in 3 people died.
No, that's not Spanish flu. That's like Black Death. Spanish flu was around COVID, which is like 3 to 5%.
We got an iPad on this show.
Ooh, it's not an iPad. It's a Huawei. It's slow as fuck.
It's also,
and it's dead.
It's also dead. It's literally, last time I used it was last podcast. But, Jamie, yeah.
No, Spanish flu was about par with COVID.
Fun fact, Spanish flu was H1N1. Same disease. But anyway, people got it and either died or didn't. It was over relatively quickly because everyone just died.
2 years.
Yeah, which apparently at the rate that we're currently vaccinating, Canada will be done by the end of 2027.
Right, but
at this rate, obviously it'll speed up.
But if you add together the people that have got it with the people that have been vaccinated, you actually get there a lot faster.
Of course.
So all you're doing is trying to race the pandemic with like number of vaccines with number of infections, and you want to keep the number of vaccines daily over the number of infections daily, and you're kind of winning the war.
And we have 2 vaccines right now, but then who knows? A year from now we might have 10.
Right.
There's more companies working on it right now, right?
So there will be more. But yeah, anyways, you're winning. Overall, your science is going to win the battle. Social distancing makes a huge difference, obviously.
Well, we're sitting 6 feet apart.
At least the camera is just like cut.
Yeah,
here
it's a wide angle.
Yeah,
it's a wide angle lens.
Yeah, just like the fucking morning show that, like, what's his name, Ryan Seacrest does. I
was just guessing, but okay.
You nailed it.
Got him.
Oh, my finger is 6 feet away from you.
Oh.
God, where were we going with this? Oh yeah, 4 kinds of people.
Are you drunk?
Yeah, no, I'm totally sober.
Sober?
Shut up. I think.
Yeah, and then the kinds of people that believe everything the government does is right, and whatever. But then the whatever number we're on, 6A.
Is like us, where it's like,
no,
the government is incompetent.
No,
the virus is real. Also, it sucks for business.
Okay, but that's
they're all true.
That's one person, whatever. But I think the biggest section is people that just don't know, don't care, and are complacent with whatever happens.
100%. Yes, you're right about that. That is the bulk of the population. Like, where I was going to go with it is the people that are really pissed off with COVID restrictions and social distancing measures, having to wear a mask, you're infringing on my personal rights, all the Trumpism, MAGA motherfucking bullshit that's so stupid. It's really well summed up into this quote, and I don't know who said it. It was like MLK or somebody like that. It's like, when you are privileged, progress
feels like oppression. Yeah, I've heard that before.
When you are privileged, progress feels like oppression.
Yeah.
And for the privileged white motherfuckers that are out there protesting, a little bit, a mild inconvenience feels like such a strong degree of oppression that you have to go out and protest. It's like, try being black for a fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, you have to put a mask on your face and you feel a little uncomfortable going to the grocery store. Try being a black dude that gets followed around the whole store by a security guard. Every time you pick something up, they're like, are you going to buy that? Are you going to put it in your pocket?
Well, yeah, I've told this story before. Like, my star, like my best salesman, sorry, any of my other salesmen that are listening, but like my, sales manager.
You know who you are.
He's a large native man.
Yep.
And he
As
goes,
is my best friend,
and he goes into liquor stores to work, like to sample, and gets followed by security until they see him set up, and they're like, oh, like pretending they weren't following him.
Yep.
All the time, right?
Yep.
And and then
it's disgusting.
What did I do? I walked in.
And FYI, if you're American, being Aboriginal in Canada is like being black in Texas.
Yes. Maybe not in Texas. More in more east than that, like Louisiana.
Maybe like Louisiana.
Texas is like really opened up to tech businesses and stuff. Like, I think Texas is getting more.
Okay, that's fair. Like urban Texas.
Like the deep south, like fucking the Carolinas and Louisiana, and
it's not like Portland.
No,
nothing. What would be as bad as Portland.
As bad?
What would be as bad as Portland? I don't know if Canada
What
has
do you mean
anything
bad?
that bad.
What is Canada's Portland? Vancouver, absolutely.
You don't know.
No. Vancouver is.
You don't know Portland, bro.
Vancouver is Canada's Seattle.
Yes, Portland is like neo-Nazi capital.
I think we've talked about this before because
70% of police in Portland are openly KKK.
Because I think we've talked about this before because like Portland was the start of the craft brew revolution in America.
Exactly. Right when you said this, like it really fucked me up because I knew I was right, but also you guys were like so insistent that I was wrong.
Yeah.
I looked more into it and
Okay.
basically it's a tale of two cities.
Okay.
Where I heard a very easy to understand anecdote from this guy. He's like, yeah, I was black, I moved to Portland, and he's like, it took me probably about like 18 months before he realized that it was a really racist place. And he's like, where he first realized it was he joined a hiking club. And he went out on this weekend adventure, and they're going like 2-day hike, camping out. And he heard on multiple occasions at their like first campfire, some white guys just casually using the N-word to refer to black people.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was like these like woke
in like this like
these like woke,
recently, right?
These like woke hipster flannel wearing outdoorsy guys. This was like 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
And they were like just casually using the N-word to refer to any black person. And this one black dude there was like, at breakfast, he's like, guys, like, that's like not okay.
Yeah,
like you can't say the N-word.
Yeah, tone it
That's
down.
like not okay. And they're like, okay, bro, like you don't gotta be so sensitive, like fuck off. Needless to say, he dropped out of the club.
Of course.
But like that's Portland racism on the surface. But what it actually is at some point about 60, 70 years ago, the neo-Nazi movement basically believed that this was going to be like the Aryan stronghold of America. And it was literally, I think it was, 60s, 70s, like literally like 70, 80% of the police force was openly KKK.
Yep.
And the city deputized like 600 KKK members to police black neighborhoods and to beat the shit out of people in the streets.
Of course.
And the current like head of the police union is a guy that's like an open neo-Nazi. Like the cops versus everyone else, especially black people, is insanely bad in Portland. Like it's an epicenter. Like everything that's bad about America is like focused in Portland because you have like the craft beer industry, you have like the wokeness, you have the hipsters. But that's all like
because that's what I think.
Extremely white.
When I do all my fair, that is all
that's
extremely
white culture.
Definitely leans toward white males. Because all my craft beer research when I was starting my business, Portland was where everything started.
Right.
That's the first craft like where all these macro breweries, it's like, well, we just make the one beer, you make it goodish, you sell it to a bunch of people. That's the business model. People were like, no one would want 20 different beers that are all different on a fucking flight and they can't even buy in cans. Like, why would they want that? That was where that started, was Portland.
Yeah. But
when we think of fucking beer hipsters here, though, they're the most liberal people you know.
Yeah, well, you talk about horseshoe theory, which
yeah, fair.
itself is flawed in a lot of ways because it's true.
I believe a lot in it.
But yet, horseshoe theory is true for a lot of people. But also, when you actually talk about like the fundamentals of the belief on each side, there's a greater divide. But there's a large group of people that can flip to one side or the other. This was actually very, very prevalent like in the Spanish Civil War, where they could either become anarchist, communist, or fascist. But no matter which one you were like anti-establishment, anti-government, anti-whatever it is today. But like that same group of people could flip-flop in between, and a lot of them actually worked together at the same period of time. And, when one didn't work, they'd flip to the other. So horseshoe theory works in that respect, But when you actually boil it down to like what are the fundamental values, there's actually a great divide. So it's like the apathetic observer, the horseshoe theory is relevant, but for the actual like intellect and the scholar, they are miles apart.
Well, intellects and scholars don't have any fucking place in 2021.
Or any power for the most part, which is, so effectively horseshoe theory is correct, but practically or intellectually it's not, which is a mind fuck. But yes, anyway, so think about horseshoe theory and Portland being super liberal. It's also like super fashy. And it's kind of weird.
Well, it's America. What are we going to do?
It's kind of weird.
I'm
glad I don't, that's why I said, I don't think Canada has a Portland.
Well, I'm trying to keep this.
We don't have any Aryan strongholds here.
I'm trying to keep this more business oriented, but we're just talking about politics apparently. As always.
It's not even politics. It's like
this is just like worldview. But
so, Willows, what have you found? Like, because this is effectively our New Year's podcast.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you. What is the skill that you think you've learned? And I hate that word. Honestly, I've learned to hate the word skills because it just seems to bastardize everything about what it is.
Sure.
Anyways.
So anyways, I'm going to use it.
So what is this skill you think that you've become really good at or that you've learned that you've also come to like enjoy and see the fruits of? Like
nothing.
Like
I've gotten worse at everything into
the I loathe you.
I know you do. I think
You disagree with everything I say.
Yeah, not just you. I have gotten.
We know we have a club.
Yeah, I have gotten worse at every single thing I can do. No, here's something.
What's something that's paid dividends that you really love about yourself? You don't like those words, I know.
I love something about myself.
Exactly, those are the words. That's the breaking point.
Here's something that I'm not going to answer your question, but this is kind of related. I said at the start of this year, I don't like doing New Year's resolutions. I think they're dumb. Yeah. I think if you want to change, just fucking change. You don't need an excuse. But I said like I want to start doing more leisure. I want to do some more recreation in my life because I kept feeling like, and I still do, but I kept feeling like, I watch a movie, I'm like, oh, that was fucking 2 hours I could have spent on my business. Like there's, there's always shit for me to do, right? And so I want to do more recreation. So I'm a big movie fan, always have been. So I've been trying to watch more movies. I've been trying to do like one a week on just on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
I have a list of like 500 I'm trying to get through. So I'm going through.
It's gonna take a hot minute.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, follow me on Letterboxd if you're interested. Vote Willows. It's a social media for giving movie reviews. But you have like friends and you can see their reviews and
Of course you find a way to be extroverted about watching movies alone.
Yeah, so
you motherfucker.
So I started doing movie reviews on there. So follow me on Letterboxd, be my friend, and we can and recommend me some movies. But I've always loved film. I got into film when I was a kid. And I used to make movies, and I'm trying to do that more with my business. I'm trying to edit together more promotional videos and stuff. But anyway, so and then I love video games, and I haven't really played a new video game in since I started in 6 years, pretty much. Like I was a big fan of like the Fallout series. I never played Fallout 4 because it came out after I started the business. I big fan of the Uncharted series. I never played Uncharted 4 because I was doing the business. But I started getting back into just playing not new games, but just I bought the Mafia series. It was on 50% off sale for all 3 of them, so I was playing those. Those are pretty fun. That's why I originally bought the suspenders I'm wearing today, because in the first one you're like an Italian gangster or whatever, and he has this pinstripe suit. And then there's this one mission where you're just in like the pinstripe pants with the suspenders because it's like the 1940s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that look. And I literally went on Amazon and replicated the look. And I like bought everything. Bought the suspenders, pinstripe pants. But so I've been trying to do more leisure this year and trying to watch more movies and play more video games and feel less bad about myself.
Yeah.
When I do that, like it's not a waste because I need my fucking mental health. Fuck off.
100%. Yeah. You have to have a budget for indulgence.
However,
oh God.
I've been doing I haven't done this is my slow season. Like January, February is my fucking slow season. I've been like watching movies and stuff. I'm so fucking bored. I just want to go back to work. Like I can't do this forever. I'm not built for this. Like just fucking sitting in my bed and watching shit. Like
I don't think you're built for doing anything but feeling pain.
What does that mean?
Think about it, ruminate, and come back to
what
me.
Is no, that's a fucking cop out. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're just like, just fucking.
No. I think I just nailed you so accurately. You want to diffuse and deflect,
what?
But you like pain, you like suffering, and you don't know how to enjoy yourself or be comfortable or relaxed.
What do you mean? I'm relaxed.
Yeah. No.
Ever like scroll past one of those things on Facebook and it's like, relax your fucking shoulders.
Yeah.
Relax, unclench your jaw. And I'm like, oh fuck, I was clenching my shoulders.
Yeah. But that's me. Like I don't know if it's from like meditation practice or whatever the fuck, but like I do that a couple times a day where I do like an inventory from like my eyebrows, like how are they moving all the way down through to your breath, to your legs, to your arms, to your shoulders, like releasing, relaxing. I do that routinely, and it may be fucking genetic, but like my level of self-awareness, like physically and stuff like that, I'm always right there. And I love sleep. I love downtime. I love relaxing time. I love mundane, brain-numbing movie time.
Yeah,
I love stupid
commie.
books. But it allows me to work. Like we've talked about this all the time. You're on all the time at 40%.
Yeah. You're on 100% for 12 hours
I'm at
a day.
100%, 40% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. But
the output
is the same.
Is the same, which is why we get along.
Yeah, which is why it works. This relationship.
And we both burn out.
Yeah, which is funny.
So which one are you? DM us.
Are
you the 40%, 100%?
Are you a Tyler or a Willows today? Yeah. How are you feeling?
Yeah. That's a good analogy.
That is a good analogy. I like that. Yeah, man, I don't know. I remember when I built my last display for my farmers markets. When you built it.
Yeah, thank you.
But I'm fucking my company.
You did some work. It's fine. I'll give you some credit.
I said like this is probably the most effort I ever put in a display. 60% effort instead of my usual 20. And I remember someone commented, like they were trying to be a dick, but they commented like, if you're gonna do something half-assed, why do it at all?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't fucking what.
It's like, look at my entire business.
Yeah, why would you want to do anything?
Most things I did half-ass, and look what happened. It's consistent half-assery that gets you pretty goddamn far.
Yeah, like well, the
whole way.
Well, I preach that all.
You could run an entire marathon half-assed.
Yeah, as long as you make it.
Yeah, and you would still be better than most people who've never run a marathon.
Yeah, I preach that all the fucking time. Is just show up every day. You don't have to fucking beat anyone. Just show up every single day and you'll win.
Yeah,
I that's
100%.
One of my main philosophies in business.
And, yeah, the more I grow up, the more I understand it. It's like a cliche. It's a platitude, but like it's just so.
It's almost
true.
not though. Treat it.
It's a cliche because it's so true that it's.
Because when I heard that, I treated it like practical advice. and I took it and I just showed up every day.
Yeah.
Like, you make 1% effort every day. That's a fucking 100% in a quarter, in a third of a year, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you make, I correct my math on that, but, you know, if you put in 1% a day, you're pretty much doubling like 3 times a year or whatever.
Yeah, the math.
You know what I mean?
The compounding effect is real, especially when it comes to building a business. It counts with fitness. It counts with personal health.
Yeah, it's the rice. What is one piece of rice called? Rice grain?
A grain of rice?
Okay, it's the rice grains.
I almost didn't get that.
It's the rice. I was gonna say rice flakes. it's the rice
crispy flakes.
Buddy
that
goes
are frosted.
Buddy goes, do you want like $1 million or what is it? It's you get on a checkerboard, on a chessboard, and the first I'm not this drunk, I swear.
Oh my God, Willows.
The first like square is 1 grain of rice, and the second is 2, and the third is 4, 8, 16, and they double each time.
Right.
Right? And by like day 20, you're at like 200, but at like by day, or like at like I think it's like day 25 you're at like 200, but by like day 30 you're at fucking like 10 million.
Yeah.
Like, because compound effect. That's
Yeah.
the lesson, is that your effort just keeps doubling, right? So it's like, well, do you want $1 million or do you want 1 cent doubled every day for 30 days?
Yeah.
Right. That's the
fun part of the human
parable.
psyche that we don't understand. Here's another fun callback. Humans don't understand, like, naturally compounding or acceleration. We understand like linear speed. Like,
when we understand like instant gratification.
I'm thinking more primal than that.
Okay.
So like if an animal is running across a field and you are running it on an intercept course, you can adjust your speed to be very accurately intercepting that thing at the exact time that it whatever intercepts your path.
And you can do that with no training or nothing.
Right. So that's just like natural, where
Yeah.
you can throw a rock and hit something that's moving. So it's
Yeah.
like static speed versus static speed. You can do that mental math.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have acceleration or like an exponential curve involved, human psyche doesn't understand it.
Which I think they've quoted for car accidents all the time, right?
Right.
Where
yeah.
you think you can make it, but they're accelerating.
Or decelerating.
Or decelerate, yeah.
Right. So you don't understand it in either direction.
Yeah.
It's just not, humans aren't capable. It's not in our brains.
Or it's hard, obviously. People can do it, I'm sure.
Well, you can conceptualize it, but it's not instinctive.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Logically, you can understand it.
What's your point?
But naturally, you can't. People don't understand something like a virus. Or they're like, oh my God, 500 cases today. And then the next day, oh my God, 1,500 cases today. And then the next day, oh my God, 5,000 cases today. Even though the math is completely predictable and linear, it's still surprising.
Well, it's like, because people were like, well, I'm only seeing 3 people. But if you cut that 3 to 2, you've like reduced it by
right. So that
exponential amount.
That person could understand the math, but the instinct is not fucking there.
That's interesting.
And the same applies to habits. Like Atomic Habits is an interesting book, like with that same idea over like Darren Hardy's compound effect. Yeah. Where, these daily actions compound to a greater or lesser result, and everything has that kind of repercussion or impact to it. Like the fact that we do this podcast weekly and get drunk, like, could have a very positive compound effect, if we podcast regularly, but it could also have a negative compounding effect because we drink a lot weekly.
It's fine.
Like,
I drink a lot daily. It's fine.
Same. So we've discussed this, but there are all these effects at work that we all understand, but none of us acknowledge it on a daily basis.
So what's the solution, Mr. Bergen?
The solution is, you got to get out of your own head. Write the shit down that you do, and pay attention to yourself from the outside, because if you think you know what you're doing, or if you think you know what's going on, you're fucking wrong.
Okay, so you can take that advice, or I'll give you the opposite advice.
Please do.
You can think you're always right, never audit what you do what feels good, and just fucking...
And you can be the president.
And just sprint.
And you can be the president. You never admit... Also, you got to add to that, never admit that you're wrong.
No, I admit that I'm wrong. I was talking about me.
No, if you add to that, never admit that you're wrong, you could then become president.
Okay, I don't want any more Trump talk.
No, I'm saying generically.
Any more T-star UMP talk.
No, generically. Just never admit that you're wrong, and you'll go far.
Agreed.
You just...
However,
if somebody calls you out on some bullshit, just double down and go deeper.
I think that's a good, well, maybe not good, but effective business tactic.
Advice.
And I think you will be a single millionaire.
Just one digit, just 7 figures, no more.
Yeah. But the greatest thing about the free market economy is that you can pay girls to pretend to love you.
And we're back to allegedly Nygaard.
What? What do you mean? That's consent. Sex work is work, number one.
Exactly, which is why I'm like, I don't ever condemn anybody that was there or him for soliciting it. All fine and good.
Unless you're a child.
Unless you're 6 years old, yeah, then it's not.
Okay, I don't think it was... I think the youngest was like 14. Which is not better. I don't know why I brought that up.
We're not talking about lines of gray here.
You were not... Yeah, it's... Don't...
You're a bastard.
Don't do that.
Either a little or a lot. Yeah.
There's a bunch of that. We always read the criminal code just for fun. Because there's a lot of funny stuff.
What would happen if...
Well, there's a ton of stuff that's like you can, for instance, an underage drinking in this province, because I'm very familiar with the entire Liquor Control Act because of my business.
Of
course. Underage drinking, you can drink at 16 as long as your parent is the one buying it for you.
Right.
In 2 situations. In your own house, accompanied by your parent. They can't just buy you liquor and send you off.
Right.
It has to be in your own house, like under the supervision of your parent, or at a restaurant under the supervision of your parent. Your parent can buy you a beer when you're 16. You drink at the restaurant with your parent. So that's in the law, but then it's also in the law if your spouse buys it for you and you're 16. And they're over 18.
I'm so glad that clause is in there.
Yeah, that's real. That's a real law. That's not an ancient law. That's in the law. Yeah. If you're 16 and your spouse is over 18, they can buy you liquor for you to drink.
Wow.
Yeah, legally.
Lit.
Yeah, oh
my god, it's like in high school we had this one guy that we were always hanging out with that was he was 18, 19, and we were all like 16. So we'd go to the theaters, go to rated R movies, and he's like, yeah, they're with me. We'd just get into rated R movies. It was awesome.
You know, I had people like that too. That when I was like 15, we were hanging out with like 20-year-olds. But now, could you imagine hanging out with fucking kids?
No, I can't. The guy was a nut.
You got to think about those fucking people are fucking creepy as fuck, right? Because it's cool. Like, I remember my buddy like had sex with an 18-year-old girl when we were like 14 or 15. And we were all like, yeah. And now you think about that, it's like, what fucking 18-year-old girl is banging fucking 15-year-olds?
Why? She's got... Oh.
Yeah, it's like the reason why they're not banging people their age is because people their age think they're weird. Yeah. Like, that's what it is.
The funny part was, like, the girl behind the counter was like somebody was like in her...
Okay, you grew up in a fucking small town.
Yeah, it was like in our grade we went to school with. She's like... Okay.
Yeah, you lived in a small town.
And she like IDs the guy just to be sure, and she's like... I don't like it, but I guess I have to say yes.
Yeah, I guess that's a weird thinking back. Like, I can't even imagine hanging out with people. I remember like when my brother would bring his friends around, and I'm like, these fucking people are idiots, but they're like 3 years younger than me.
Yeah,
right. But
yeah, it's a massive gap when you're 18.
Yeah, huge. Yeah.
And when I was
like 3 years,
I was 17. I was dating a girl 3 years my senior. And we like waited to quote unquote make it official until I turned 18. Like,
yeah,
that looked weird on retrospect, but
yeah, well, I know a guy. I won't give any details because, yeah.
Why would you?
But I know a guy that's he's like in his 30s, he's dating an 18-year-old. And that's like whatever. They did it for like 3 years. And then she has her 18th birthday. And we're like, wait. And we're all like, wait, weren't you already wait. Like, and she was like, and yeah,
it's like your bartender at your 18th birthday that's been serving you for 3 years.
That's happened to my cousin actually. She used to go to this bar over here all the time. That was when she was, you pretty much you grow tits and fucking put makeup on. And you can get in a bar. And yeah, she was going to a bar for 4 years before, and then she turns 18 and they're like, excuse me? Like, we've seen you around here for years. It's like, oops. But yeah, it was, I forget
where this quote comes from. He's like, you know what I love about...
it's Dazed and Confused, Owen Wilson. I already know what you're going
I love the going. It's like, you know what I love about freshmen?
I love these high school girls, man. I keep getting older and they stay the same age. I heard
where's that one? Is it Dazed and Confused?
Dazed and Confused, yeah.
Legendary.
That's funny that I was able to pick that out.
Yeah,
with context.
With context. I didn't even start saying what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I keep getting older and they stay the same age.
Yeah. Fucking Owen Wilson.
I hate young people. Everyone
get away from me. I can't even listen to you.
What did I say? Everyone older than me is an idiot. No, everyone older than me is a boomer and everyone younger than me is an idiot.
No comment. No notes.
I'm also seeing someone 16 years older than me.
That's why I said no notes.
Just kidding. Gonna cut that out.
So, we've been going for 2 hours.
Final thoughts.
Yeah. Final thoughts is we are going to, the goal of this year, this podcast.
Yeah, this
the goal of this podcast.
Yeah,
we're gonna become more concise. We're gonna bring.
If you got this far in the podcast,
good for you.
Thank you. This one we purposely did loosey goosey because we haven't done this in 3 months, so we wanted to get back into it. But we have been talking a lot about getting this more structured. We have some ideas about. We want to give because I get people all the fucking time that ask me business advice, like how'd you do this? How'd you do this? Like I take it for granted. I think we both do, but I have a lot of advice to give.
Yeah, I agree.
And I want to make this more structured, but in a situation that I'm still drunk and loosey goosey, because I think that's where the most like honesty comes out of me.
Yeah, based around current news, current events, but also, general truth and just disagreeing with each other because we like to do that.
Fuck you.
Yeah, but fuck you too, buddy.
So we're gonna make this more structured this year. We're gonna record every Wednesday, and then whenever I edit it, it'll depend on my work schedule. We'll get them out probably once every 2 weeks, I would assume. But we're gonna make them more structured, and we're gonna make them better because we love you.
Yeah, because we both love podcasts and enjoy them, and
we get a lot of
want to get good at it.
We it's not like me watching Ozark. Like when we listen to podcasts, we both listen to a lot. I think you more than me, just because of your job. Yeah. But we consume a lot of media like that, and I get legitimate business advice, worldview advice that I then apply to my actual life.
Yeah, no, I value the information very highly.
Like there's things that I've learned in a podcast. I'm like, I'm gonna try that out, and then like done it as a business tactic, and like made a huge sale.
Yeah,
like and I want to provide that kind of. We both do, I think, want to provide that kind of value to our listeners.
Yeah, 100%.
So going forward from this year, we want to be more productive because this podcast up until now has been about us.
Yeah,
just ranting.
We're not professionals in PR, journalism, research, broadcast, comedy, fucking content, anything. But you know what?
Well, we don't want to be, I don't think.
No, but it's also the fact that, like, you know, at this point, you know, we've got a pretty small viewer base, but it's also something that just because of the nature of who we are, it's something that we enjoy and want to get good at. So we will.
Yeah, and that's gonna drive me. It's not getting more viewers. It's just being better at something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's fun.
Yeah, and we like it. And we were gonna get drunk and talk about business and politics to each other anyway. So
we might as well do it disciplined.
Exactly. And that'll only help us in the future. So.
And hopefully help you.
Exactly.
But mostly help us because
mostly.
We just do this podcast for us and fuck you.
I think this is multiple times that he's insulted the audience, but I disagree. I love you guys. Thank you for listening.
He says that for the likes.
No, I don't. This is Alcohol Beyond This Point, the podcast where we get drunk. I don't know, whatever.
And argue and disagree and talk about too many Trumps.
True. So you can follow us on Alcohol Beyond This Point on Facebook, Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast on... Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast on Facebook, Alcohol Beyond This Point on Instagram. You can follow me, Vote Willows, VOTEWILOWS on everything. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Letterboxd, whatever else you want. Willows is my name. I have a co-host. His name
is Tyler. You can find me Instagram primarily, Tyler_the_builder, because I like Twitter. It fascinates me, but also kind of scares me. So, yeah, I kind of post my bullshit I'm up to every day. But if you really want to hear what I have to say, you're just gonna have to listen to this goddamn podcast because I'm not posting it online.
I was gonna say follow Tyler_the Tyler.
Also, Tyler_the Tyler
for all his tile ASMR.
The actual tiling ASMR, yeah.
For his ASMR from his tile business.
Yeah,
Tyler_the Tyler.
If you just happen to live in Manitoba and you need services.
But if you don't, follow it anyway and watch tile ASMR is some of the most fucking satisfying thing when you're laying like exact. Ugh, so good.
Like so it's like that TikTok where it's like carpenters that just say tight. Oh, it's so tight. Like so many times during the day when you like just get that perfect cut and you like put it in place, it's like, it's tight.
All right.
I say that so many times.
Yeah, okay.
Every single day.
I'm sure you do, buddy.
So many times. You have no idea. And on that note, thank you for coming. Thank you, Willows. Thank you for the drinks. Thank you for the tequila. It's been a slice. Stop sweating.
Oh, I'm not sweating.
You're sweating.
Man's not hot.